Let's go.
The babies are having so much fun eating these turnip greens with their parents that came from our front garden because they have eaten all of the turnips, including the roots, out of this area. So I actually went to Johnny Seeds online this weekend and bought 5 pounds of turnip fodder seeds to grow food for these geese, and it cost me $25. And while that may sound like a lot, when you think about it, you're talking about 1,000,000 turnip seeds. I'm not exaggerating. So for me, it's completely worth it being able to grow that amount of food for these animals. I didn't expect the geese to eat all of those turnips, including the roots, and they did. So what I did was, it was finally time, since the babies are bigger, to go ahead and clean out the coop area. So I raked all of that out last night and I put it on top of where their turnips were, right here in their run. And I even gave them this bucket last night and filled it with clean water and cleaned out their water. So you can see it looks a little different than it has been in the last couple videos, but it's still really cool. And what's left of the turnips will pop back up through these, and I can also reseed in here. The great thing about shavings, this is pine, and it's just going to break down and enrich the soil, and also give all of our clay soil a really good texture as it does so. I know there's a lot of shadows in here, guys. It's actually a lot warmer today. It's 60 degrees and not rainy, which is lovely because it's been in the 30s and so stormy for a couple of weeks. I know. Dorian's back over here, still living his best life and being the greatest dad. And man, I can't believe it's only been a few days since I made a video about these guys turning a week old, and I feel like they've more than doubled in size in less than 4 days. I just can't believe how massive these are. They're larger than my 3-week-old ducklings, and I know it shouldn't be a surprise to me because Ebden are such a large breed of geese, but it blows my mind.
The health of it.
I know you're going to hear a lot of background noise. We do live in the city, and the kids are out here playing, which is why the geese are freaking out. So if you hear that loud honking sound, that is the sound that geese make whenever they are alerting each other to predators or any kind of fear, terror, anything they're afraid of that can harm them. And I know that you guys wouldn't harm them, but the geese are still freaked out, especially having babies. But that's actually really helpful, especially if you have intruders in the yard. Guys, these geese will alert you to people, to other dogs, to cats, to raccoons, foxes, and they can get pretty aggressive. I mean, they'll go after my basset hound if he was to get in there. Now, of course, we don't let him in there, but just saying, Mom and Daddy Goose do not play around. You can see we're still dealing with the mud and water, but the babies are having the time of their life, swimming in all this mucky mess with their mom and dad, so that's cool. And here is our poor passion fruit plant. I don't think it's going to recover from the type of weather that we've had. It looks like it split all the way down. I'm pretty sure this baby is dead. I'll see if it pops up, but I don't think it's going to. And you can see some spinach kind of growing down in there randomly, which is cool. I'm convinced that the only reason the geese haven't eaten this is that it was actually protected when it was growing well last season to protect it from those crazy ducks. I know it seems kind of random, but this just happens to be in the goose pen, so it's kind of part of everything. There's so much going on right now. Everything's changing. The weather's changing. It's warming up. Plants are growing. The babies are getting out more. It is becoming our busy season. Last night I actually set up the incubators. I have 60 duck eggs in the incubators because now I have at least 2 more of the younger ducks laying, so we're getting anywhere from 6 to 8 eggs every single day, and pretty soon it'll be more than that. So I fired up those incubators. Guys, if 1/3 of all 3 of those incubators hatches, that's going to be an incredible amount of ducklings. We're looking at least 30 ducklings, and that's if 1/3. If half hatches, that's going to be just mind-blowing to have 50 ducklings. So I know they say don't count your chickens before your eggs hatch. That's true of all poultry. It's really kind of scary to count them before they hatch, even shortly after hatching, because it's so unpredictable. But I'm excited. You know, I can safely say that I think hoping for at least 30% to 50% to hatch is pretty accurate. Spring is coming. I know it's still winter, but for us, the spring weather is coming in southeast Texas. It's going to be a really good season to raise ducks and not have to have supplemental lighting because it gets so warm so quickly here. So it's just really cool. And if you are not homesteading for meat, that's great. I support you. They lay eggs really well. But if you are, we do eat meat. And so if you are homesteading to get meat for your family, ducks are great because certain breeds of ducks, they grow really quickly. You're talking about Pekin and other large meat ducks, putting them in your freezer between 6 and 8 weeks. And even with our small breeds of duck, like our Welsh Harlequin, we're still putting them in the freezer around 12 weeks. 16 weeks is ideal. And while they aren't going to produce a ton, it's just so much easier to fill your freezer and feed your family with the ducks, especially the drakes that you can't use for your flock, than it is to try and sell them. I support anyone trying to sell. You absolutely can sell them. They are a great breed. They are a desirable breed. But my goal was to break even and sustain my family. And so if I can feed my family without having to lose too much money or being able to just supplement it and basically feed my family for free, that's really my goal. Anything above that is just a complete and total blessing. So we're in an urban setting. We are in the city. We're in the suburbs outside of Houston. So we have a lot of rules that we have to follow. And it made things a little more challenging. But ducks are just so easy. And as you know, our yard floods, especially our backyard, during the winter season. So it made it a lot easier to not have to worry about our chickens getting bumblefoot or anything else. And the ducks and geese just absolutely love the water, as you can imagine. Are you giving me the warning, historian? I thought we loved each other. What's going on, man? He's over me right now. In case you're wondering, here's the water for the babies. They've, of course, been playing in it. And I'm still giving them some grain, but they're obviously still eating all of the fresh vegetables that we have for them. But it is okay to supplement. You don't necessarily have to. They will survive on forage alone, but it's kind of nice to fatten them up after they lost so much weight during hatch. I know you can hear a lot of tools because my husband and dad are outside working on stuff, but check this out. In our pond that's inside the Goose nursery, I actually went and bought about 40 minnows this week from the pet store, thinking maybe the geese would eat them because the older geese can actually get in here no problem. Dorian's taller than this. He reaches his hand in and snatches what he wants and drinks the water all the time. But they actually haven't. If it was my ducks, they would be devouring the minnows. Sometimes I get them just for them. So I guess now we're a minnow nursery because we have all of these minnows surviving. And if you've been around for a while, you know that we actually have 5 comet goldfish in this water too. They're the larger orange and white fish that you see. And that's because we bought a bunch of those cheap feeder fish from the pet store last summer, and 5 of them survived to get over 6 inches long, and they are not done growing yet. I know it's kind of hard to see because the sun's like really reflecting. Isn't that really cool though? So there's one of my larger comagene. I see them under the water, but they are not impressed with me and they are not coming up to the surface. And the water is so shadowy. Hi, little minnows too. I don't even know if I can kind of see them in the phone screen, so they'll probably look a little funny on the video. You can see they're actually getting more comfortable with me because I'm less than 2 feet away from them, and they just came and sat down by the pond where I was standing, so I think that's pretty cool. You guys are so pretty. If you guys remember when I was showing them off a couple weeks ago, and I was saying that they actually have a lot of gray on them, this breed, until they hit about a year of age, and then they start to get white. Now the males are naturally whiter than the females because of the genes that they have and the way that it shows in their feathers. But the females, usually they have some gray on them, and as they age they turn white, and the baby goslings are no exception. So I was really concerned that maybe I had some mixed breed goslings, but I started looking at more and more images of Ebden geese and found out that it's actually quite normal for them to be this gray and just a crazy amount of electric yellow. I'm still thinking that that little guy with the brightest yellow head is a male, so I'm pretty excited to see. My son has already named him Gandalf, so that will be Gandalf the goose. It's so funny to me that a week and a half old, not quite 2-week old baby goose is basically the same size as like a 2 to 3 week old Pekin duck is. And then, as you know, those ducks grow really rapidly, so by the time they're 8 weeks old, they're processing age. So comparatively, it's really impressive. Now, of course, these will top out easily at 15 to 20 pounds. Their dad weighs 30. He is a massive gander. But compared to my other ducklings that are 3 weeks old, these guys are more than double their size because those are a smaller breed of ducks. The Welsh Harlequin are just long, slender, bottled neck ducks. Are you warming up to take a nap, Mommy Goose? Nemo just hanging out. But Dorian over here, he's still kind of on the alert. There's some birds up in the trees nesting, and he is paying close attention to them. He is not taking a rest with his babies. I know this is a random video because there's just so much cool stuff going on, so it's not going to be as divided up as most of my videos. That's just one distinct subject. But here we are in the goose coop. This is the divider between the geese and the ducks. And look at this. This goji berry is just going wild. Coming back. I'm so excited. Now the geese and ducks love eating the flowers, and the berries are edible for both people and the fowl, but they taste really bitter. So I like to pop them in smoothies where I can't taste them at all. And even dehydrated, yeah, they're still pretty bitter. But they are really great, and they're really popular for medicinal uses. They're really high in different minerals and vitamins, but for me, I just can't get past the taste. So these are cool for dividers, though, how tall they get, and you can see they just kind of wrap around everywhere. It's really cool. This one looks dead, but I promise you it's dormant. It's going to start popping back up out of nowhere. These things just really take over and produce runners, and they are just massive, bushy little plants. They're not sure what to think about all of our noise and all the babies coming out now. And by babies, I mean my babies coming out to play, and the family. It's just getting kind of loud. We are a large family. So they're just like, man, I think we're going to call it for now. What about you guys? Are you girls enjoying all of this rainy weather? Y'all have your own pond right now. She's so pretty. My Welsh Harlequin girls. These guys are going into their second laying season this spring, so they're getting that nice, rich, beautiful color, more golden tones on their chest. Now they're still laying right now, but you can see their feathers are kind of changing out. They're molting a little bit, And I'm actually surprised that they haven't stopped laying completely to do so, but I see them growing in their new feathers and everything else, which is really cool to watch. So if you have birds and they're going through a weird phase where they're losing feathers, maybe not laying as much as they did, they're just molting, and it's perfectly natural. I know it can be alarming if you don't know what molting is, and that's when their feathers fall out and they'll grow new feathers. Sometimes once a year, sometimes twice. It just depends on the birds and the weather that you have, really. But don't be alarmed. It happens. It's really common during the heat of the summer or during the dead of the winter. They'll kind of stop laying and they'll put all their focus into molting and preparing for the next breeding season. This baby girl right here is one of my Welsh Harlequin mallard crosses. But she is gorgeous and she is massive. You see what I mean by their wings look a little funny? This is a really good example. This is not how their wings generally sit. But right now, I'm going to make some exceptions because, like I said, they're growing new feathers and everything else. So they're just going to look a little weird. That's nothing to worry about. I'm really excited about these girls now that they're getting older because they're a really good example how Welsh Harlequins will start off lighter in color, and then as they age, the more they molt, they get that more golden and golden bronze look. That makes me really excited because when you buy from hatcheries, you're not always guaranteed to get that coloration. You don't really know what quality they are, and I was really blessed to get these from an individual who takes a lot of pride in her animals, and especially in her Welsh Harlequin ducks and her cotton patch geese. So I'm really excited to have these babies right now and just to see how absolutely gorgeous they are. And I know they're not babies. They're almost 2, but for me they're babies, right? And our younger Welsh Harlequin girls, these guys are less than a year old, so I'm pretty impressed by them. They're amazing girls. They started laying by 5 months of age in the winter, so I just can't get enough of them, and what an amazing breed they are. You see how much they enjoy the water? They're just having the time of their lives here. It's so funny to watch them play. There's so much to update everybody on with spring hitting and the warm weather with all the plants growing, and I just got new carrot seeds, started lettuce, and everything else. So there will be so many different types of videos coming up because I love showing off my garden during gardening season as much as I love showing off our poultry. And I'm really excited for everyone to see that. So I hope you enjoy this little quick update about everyone and how well they're doing and laying and just hanging out enjoying the water and our fun little goslings. And I'm gonna go off and enjoy my family, and then over the next couple of days you'll start seeing some more videos. We'll get our grow lights in, I'll show you when I start planting my carrots and building some more garden beds, so you can kind of join along in that journey too. And if you're learning how to garden, then I hope we're able to help you learn some of that and how to grow fodder for your animals. And if you're an experienced gardener, then I can't wait to learn from you. We could all use someone a little more experienced to kind of show us the ropes. So that's what I'm kind of hoping to do for everyone else. I hope you enjoyed this video of our sweet babies just kind of hanging out and playing, and thank you for joining us as always.